All right.
Hey Kiss Army and welcome to Tales of a Kiss Geek. So today is a fun one. I'm joined by Mr. Erik Fullmer. How's it going,
Hey,
Erik?
pretty good. And for the record, I am not Sam Loomis.
You should have heard what he said to me off the air.
Oh yeah, yeah. So how you doing, brother?
Oh man, I'm doing good. Obviously it's a different time zone than
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
than you're in right now. I'm sure you
You're
have
in a,
nice weather
you're
where you
across
are.
the ocean, right? Across the seven seas, as they
I
say.
am all the
Yeah.
way across. I'm in Dublin, Ireland. Where are you yourself?
I'm in Portland, Oregon, which is
Tommy Taylor land.
which is considered the West Coast. I'm not really bad with geography, so I don't know where that is compared to Ireland as far as the other side. I know you guys are more west, I guess, and which is
Well, my mind immediately springs to black and blue. Isn't that
oh,
where they're from?
oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah, you're right. So I'm originally from Los Angeles, and well, I'm originally from a little town called Atwater, California, but I moved to Los Angeles in 1990 and did the whole band thing with my old former band, and I moved up here in 2011 because I was addicted to drugs and alcohol, and it basically took me down to where I was almost homeless, or I was actually homeless, and then I came up here to Portland and got help and got into outpatient, became a and then about 2018, I became an alcohol and drug counselor. But I'm 10 years sober, no more drugs, no more alcohol, just a lot of sugar and food.
Well done.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
and
you
music.
could argue that sugar and food is a drug in itself.
Yeah, it's a drug. Yeah, but my biggest drug is music and just entertainment, art, records. I have a big record collection now since 2019. I got back into collecting vinyl or whatever, and then I got CDs and because I fell into that trap of just sort of streaming music for a long time
Okay,
and I started thinking
just
like, well,
convenience.
I'm not getting just because it's convenient, but I'm not getting that fulfillment. So it's nothing like getting a record and open up and read the liner notes and put that record on where you don't have to skip any music. You even listen to the bad tracks, just let it go and lose yourself into the music and into the artwork of the album and the liner notes. And so then now I got like about 600 LPs and about 200 CDs and all these special editions. And I was looking at it, I was thinking, damn, according to Discogs, because I have all my stuff on Discogs, which is a site where you can like log in all your vinyl and stuff. According
Yeah.
to that, my collection's worth about $25,000. I think
Oh
I
my
could
god.
sell it all and buy a house. But I
You
know
should just buy a Kiss pinball machine.
I know, right? Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna cash all my records in. Kiss pinball machine, here we come, man.
I have to say, vinyls are great until you buy the off the soundboard. I don't know if you
Yeah.
have any of those, but
Oh yeah,
it's like
I've been getting from the I don't got the off the soundboard any on vinyl. I do have the pre-ordered one. I'm pre-ordering the one that's from '77. I think that's the next one coming out, the
I
Donington.
want to get that as well.
Yeah, I got
Des
on that
Moines, I
pre-order.
think.
Yeah, is it Des Moines? That's what it is, right? It's for 1977. And yeah, I got that on pre-order for vinyl, but the other last two they released, or is it three that they released so far? I got those on CD, and they sound
Like
pretty good.
Tokyo, what's
Tokyo,
Tokyo? Tokyo 2001.
yeah,
Then there's
2001,
Virginia Beach
Virginia Beach.
2004. That's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
that's
So
a
I got
disaster, I think.
yeah, I got those too, and I like those, man. I really like the rawness, and you can hear
Uh,
all the little mistakes here and there, which I love.
yeah,
I'm a sloppy guitar player as
cool.
it is, so I kind of relate. So I've been playing for 35 years, but I got this kind of sloppiness to my playing that I just can't give up, and I kind of like.
Yeah,
So
no, I'm fully with you. Well, before we dive into any kids-related topics,
yeah.
tell me a little bit about yourself and different bands you're in, and anything you'd like to plug. You've got the
Oh yeah,
floor.
yeah. So I was originally from a band called Will O Wisp, and we've went to LA in 1990, and we're like kind of a gothic, glam, black metal, death metal. I guess black metal wasn't really too happy. Well, it was just kind of starting at that time. But our influence. We had the weirdest influence. It was like we were into Bathory and Celtic Frost and Slayer, and then we were into Poison, Britney Fox, and all these like glam bands, and then obviously Kiss, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. Growing up in the 80s, being a teenager in the 80s, my first concert was Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon tour, and it was Jakey Lee. Seeing him live is like, oh my god, I got to have a guitar, I got to play guitar, and I formed the band in high school with my drummer, and then so we moved to Hollywood and had a pretty good little run there as far as like playing with bands like Mayhem, Dark Funeral. We got signed a couple of times and released a couple of albums. One album that was our biggest one, which not big, but about 4,000 copies worldwide, for on a label called Full Moon Productions.
Cool.
It was called Delusions of Grandeur. But the album before that, we self-financed, and we had Phil Lewis from LA Guns co-engineer and produce it. And I'm still good friends with Phil Lewis to this day. He's kind of like my only famous rocker friend. Him and my friend Melina Moy, she's a female left-handed guitarist that used to teach on guitar, and she's blown up pretty big. And so so I did that, and I, like most musicians, I got caught up into drugs and alcohol a little bit too much, partying at the Rainbow Bar and Grill, and and hanging out with all the, there's a cocaine everywhere, and meth and everything else. And I just got to a point where I was just unmanageable, and so I pretty much got kicked out of my own band. And from there, the plan was, okay, I'll leave. I'll get out of the band. Fuck you guys. I'm going to start my own band, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a solo artist. But all what happened was I just ended up drinking more and doing more drugs, and ended up homeless and everything else. And then I finally moved up here to Portland. My brother helped me out, moved up here, and he threw my ass in outpatient rehab, and I was able to get myself sober. Fell off the rails a little bit a couple of times in the beginning, but finally got it. And so I've been over 10 years sober now, and now I work as an alcohol and drug counselor, and now I do my music. I have a project called Death Cryptopia, which is me and my good friend, known for a long time. He's a lyricist. I'm not much of a lyricist, so I got him on board to write this really cool story about these three demons that are going at it. It's a evil versus evil story, and humanity's caught in the middle. And we put out a couple singles last year, one called Death and one called Furious. And right now I'm just working on the full album with that, and and then I do a podcast with my brother called Gen X Brothers Podcast, and that does pretty well. Matter of fact, I'll be taping later on today this week's episode. We do that every week.
And where can people find that? Are you on Spotify or where?
Yeah, Spotify, iTunes, Good Pods, anywhere you can listen to podcasts. Anywhere Joe Rogan's at, that's where we are too. I like to say that.
Well, is he still on Spotify? Wasn't there a bit of a?
Yeah, I know what to do. I can't remember. I always, every time I ever catch Joe Rogan's usually on YouTube clips, but yeah, I think he did get to stay on Spotify. I think they got rid of what's his face, was it Neil Young?
Yeah.
Like, see ya, Neil. Joe makes more money. But yeah,
okay,
so I stay pretty busy with all that, and it's been, doing it sober. It's just so much better, and I just music. Yeah, I'm focused. I feel like I'm writing the best stuff, and I don't care if I get famous or nothing like that. I look at it like this: whatever I put out there, I have the resources to be able to put my own stuff out there without having to get a record label. And if people dig it, that's the icing on the cake, man. I'm still going to keep creating until the day I die.
Exactly. No, that sounds good, and well done for all of that. What got you into Kiss, and when did you get into Kiss initially?
So Kiss, and I always like to tell the story because my mom bought me the first album when I was probably, I was born in '68. I want to say I was 7 years old because the first album came out in '74, right? So it must have been around 75. I'm trying to think how old I was, probably about 6 or 7. And I just remember my mom bringing this record home, and it was the first album, after, as I got older, I kind of reflected back and said, oh yeah, that was her first album. So it was the first album, but she said she bought it because she was like shopping and she thought it was a record made by clowns, for kids, because I was into Romper Room and Bozo the Clown. So I was into clowns as a kid. And so she thought it was music made by clowns. And so she brought this record home, and I didn't know what a record was. I'm more into toys and all kinds, watching cartoons on TV and stuff like that. So the record just kind of stayed around my bedroom and got tossed around, probably even damaged and broke for a couple of years. And then around 78, Kiss cards came out, and me and my little brother were at the store, and we're just buying Star Wars cards and all these little cards, and we get the Kiss cards, and we're like, wow, this is, we're getting into Kiss, and then I'm starting to see the commercials on TV, like for the solo albums and stuff. But I used to hang the cards up on my wall, and I still wasn't really into Kiss's music. I was just into their look. And as a kid, I probably like 8 or 9 years old, I had a crush on Ace Frehley because I thought it was a girl, and and I don't, obviously being a young kid, I don't think I had any sexual feelings for him. It just had like that puppy dog crush or whatever they say that is, and where I just would stare at them and, oh, she's so pretty and this and that, it's just the way she was dressed. And then later on you find out, oh shit, that was a dude, but, yeah. So then it wasn't until about 79 when Dynasty came out is when I actually bought. I think that was my first actual album that I bought from them that really got me into them. It's either that one or I did end up getting a solo album. It was after I left the town I was in and moved with my grandmother. And I remember she took me to Kmart, and I think it was Gene Simmons' solo album. I think it was that when it was the first Kiss album I ever bought, and started getting into their music. And then Paul Stanley, I got his solo album and started getting into music. Then when I did buy Dynasty, I remember now, it was those two that I bought first, and then Ace Frehley. And then when Dynasty did come out, I remember putting it on and thinking, this ain't Kiss. This is weird sounding, Even though I heard Gene Simmons' album. And to be honest, Peter Chris's solo album, to this day, I've only heard half of it. I still haven't heard. It's weird. I have it on CD. I just bought it on CD not too long ago. And one of these days, I'm just gonna put it in and just play it. And I know it's good and everything, and but the songs I've heard was okay. It's okay. It just doesn't sound like Kiss. But then neither did Dynasty at the time. But now you hear Dynasty and you think, yeah, that's Kiss. I mean, it definitely is some good shit on there.
Yeah, it did kind of get a bit weaker after Dynasty.
Yeah.
So just out of interest, before we go on, if you were to rank the 78 solo albums, what would you rank them?
Oh, so I did do a little I did a little ranking video like with me and my friend John not too long ago, and we did the 14 albums that they released between 74 to 79.
Okay.
Which, if you think about it, that's 14 studio albums that this one band put out within 5 years, like 74, 79, 5 years. And so when I did the solo albums, obviously it was Peter last, Gene third, and then I had Ace second and Paul. I was totally tied between Ace and Paul because to me it's just like they're both Kiss albums, and
I'm
it's
the
just
same. Yeah.
You got Ace, it's like it just rocks all the way through. But then you got Paul, who that's just every song is just that's a Kiss album right there, and so in a way they're kind of tied. But I do have to probably lean more towards Paul as being the better out of all of them. But Ace is just like wow,
I think we're in the minority because I would put Paul first, Ace second, Peter third, and I would have to put Gene fourth.
Yeah, and even with Peter and Gene, I just feel like only because I haven't heard Peter's enough. That's the reason why I have to put Gene's a little bit ahead of his because I did like Gene. There was some stuff on there I just thought was kind of corny sounding, but "Living in Sin's" a great song, and "Radioactive" I like that song, and but that "Wish Upon a Star" is what kind of killed it. Like, but it's kick-ass that he can actually sing it that well, and
That's true.
And he put his own spin on it, so you can't really complain there.
Well, if anybody keeps up to date with Kiss, some of you guys on the channel do. Some people boycott this this lineup, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah.
But you would know that whenever you go to the news section of Kiss or any of the members, it's Paul making pizzas. It's Soul Station, which I actually happen to love. But it's Paul making pizzas. It's mess ups, lip syncing. It's kind of a bit of a joke at times. Mm-hmm. But now we've kind of had a bit of a bombshell come into our little Kiss world, and it's quite exciting. I'm actually I think it's been a bit of a resurgence for a lot of fans. Maybe they've left the fandom behind a little bit, and then it kicks them in the ass. So for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, you can tell them.
Sam Loomis. This guy just come out of nowhere, dropping Kiss videos that we haven't seen before. What's the story? How did he get this stuff? And just like any Kiss fan, for me, Iron Maiden is my number one band. Kiss would probably have to be my second, probably, just because when I'm listening to those two bands, they're kind of like I'll listen to Iron Maiden for about a couple months, just like on a kick, and then I'll get on the Kiss kick, So it's definitely those two. But at this time, I was kind of into the Iron Maiden kick also. But then all of a sudden, these videos, I'm hearing Eddie Trunk talking about these because I listen to them every day, and I'm hearing him talking about these Kiss videos that leaks. And so I go on YouTube and I'm like, wow, this is cool. Who is this? Who's leaking this stuff? And I don't know the whole story behind it. And then one day, and at the time I'm like thinking, okay, Gene and Paul's gonna have to he's probably gonna shut this guy down, man. So I better download these videos like everyone else is doing, and keep them for future use or future viewing. And then I wake up one morning and I see that Sam had dropped 2 more videos of the Asbury Park or whatever. And so I go to click on those, and then all of a sudden his channel is gone, and that's when I'm like, oh shit, Gene and Paul got to him, man. So I didn't get those last 2 videos. But then I just it was like I said, I woke up that morning and found that out, and then I just kind of did like a little on my channel. I just did like a little video, like, oh my God, Sam is gone. What happened to him? Did Gene and Paul get to him? No, just kind of like goofy or whatever. And all of a sudden that video started getting like a lot of views, and the views started climbing on it, more than like my own music. I'm thinking, okay, what's this about, And I'm thinking it must have been a timing thing. It must have been like because I just happened to make that video at the perfect timing when people were like figuring out what's going on with Sam, where's he at, and they just needed some kind of information. So maybe that's why people were, when I had Sam Loomis in the title, that probably just kind of hit the algorithm to where people were like, holy shit, let's figure this out. So then some guy commented on that channel on that particular video and said something about there's this guy named Gooch that sold his videos to this guy or to this one guy and told him that it's going to be exclusive stuff that only him and that person has access to it. But then that guy found out that this Gooch guy was selling this stuff to other people, and that's what pissed Sam Loomis off, and that's why he decided to give everything for free. And I thought, okay, I mean, I don't know if that's really true or not, but it sounds like a pretty cool little story, a little plot going, the plot thickens type of thing, you know. So I make another video and I say, hey, everyone, I think it's this guy Gooch that shut him down. And so I formed a group called just out of funny. So I met another guy on there, and I friended him on Facebook, and I messaged him, and we're just kind of talking about like all this whole thing. And I said, hey, you know what? I'm going to make a group, you know, and I'll make you the admin or something. I think we should make one called Fuck the Gooch, Kiss Army's Revenge. I just kind of came up with that name, but it wouldn't say the word F, the fuck or whatever. It would be F * K, the Gooch. You know, just kind of like a parody, like a satire thing. You know, just get everyone kind of excited, I guess. And I didn't think it would be like taken off or anything. So I had a few people join, and then I had another guy that messaged me after I formed the group, and I did the logo and everything, and made it look all kind of fancy and stuff. Yeah. Had another guy message me and say, hey, you know, I think you should change the name. I think you need to take Gooch's name out of there, because there's this one guy, he's gunning for you, man. He's showing me these screenshots of this one guy whose name I won't mention, who, you know, later on has become a thorn, but he was showing me screenshots of this guy was looking to take down our group. He was going to get Facebook to shut it down and all this stuff like that. And I was like, oh, who is this guy? You know, and I guess everyone knows him in the underground, in the bootleg business or whatever. And, you know, who is this dude? You know, why is everyone scared of this guy? And so then I just decided, okay, I'll take Gooch's name. I will just call it Kiss Army's Revenge. I'll take Gooch's name out of the bio and like the story behind it and the reason why I called it that and everything. And I did. So now it's just called Kiss Army's Revenge. But then this guy, I guess, decided to message me. This guy that was supposed to be threatening me to take the group. Now he messages me on Messenger, and he's like, Erik, we need to talk. And I'm like, who are you and what about? And then he started trying to call me through Messenger, like over and over and over, just kept dialing and dialing, you know. And I go, dude, I'm not going to pick up because, for one, I'm on my PC and I don't have a camera or access to be able to pick it up. So tell me what this is all about. He's all, you need to shut your group down. You know, you're defaming my friend Kurt and you know, his name and stuff. And I go, what are you talking about? I actually changed the name, but he showed me a screenshot of like the old, he must have took a screenshot of like when it was called Fuck the Gooch. And so I told him, dude, I already took Gooch's name out of it, so I don't know what you're tripping on, you know, and all this stuff, you know. And then I get to work, you know, and I see that he actually tried to call my work as he using the fake name, and everyone knew that this fake name when I talked to my admins about it, the guy who actually warned me about this dude. And so everything just started kind of tying together, like, what's this guy stake in all of this? What's his relationship to this Gooch guy? What really happened? And so all that happened. And then, like, I think on one of my videos, and all of a sudden one day before that second wave dropped, Sam Loomis started commenting on my pages. He was saying, Erik, I'm going to be back on 8/3/2022. And I'm thinking, like, this is probably a fake guy just using Sam Loomis just to get subscribers and views and things like that. And maybe he's going to change the name later to like Joe Blow's Vacuum Cleaner Service or something, you know, after he gets like 100,000 subscribers, you know.
I subscribe to that.
Which is a clever thing to do. I think, I should think of that, you know. But yeah, watch, you'll go into Kiss Army's Revenge YouTube and it'll be like Joe Blow's Vacuum Cleaners or my music. But no, but so that's what I was thinking. So then, just out of just to humor him, I said, hey, Sam, that's good to hear. You know, thanks for letting me know. And, you know, me and my brother, we would like to interview you on our podcast, you know, Gen X Brothers. And, you know, you can tell your story of how this all came about, and you can stay anonymous, you know, this and that. And then I wake up the next morning, I get an email from Sam Loomis, and it was like, and I thought, cool, he's going to, you know, agree to the podcast. But I open it up and it's like, there's no talking or no hello or whatever. It's just a link to that second wave of videos that came out with those, I think what was on it, like the Kiss, a lot of those 8mm ones, really crappy footage of the 8mm and a few long shows or whatever. And yeah, and then I just kind of went off the rails. I kind of went a little bit too crazy with it, you know, going to the group. Hey guys, Sam Loomis is talking to me. Hey, I'm showing you emails, and I'm sort of making this like event out of it, I guess you could say, like a WWE thing. And so, and then I'm getting messages from this guy, this emails from this guy that's harassing me, and so, and he's still trying to shut the thing down. So, and then it just became a thing where like that's where we were just kind of sharing links in there and stuff, and I'm putting this stuff on the YouTube channel, and then we're streaming, and people are subscribing to it because like they want to know when the next leak is coming and all this stuff. So somehow like Sam Loomis made me his proxy, but I think at that time, I think I wasn't the only one he was sent it to. I think there was 3 or 4 other people, because I had people in my group saying that, hey, yeah, he sent me the same stuff, whatever. So it wasn't until the third drop that Sam Loomis, when he sent me I guess everyone knows those Creatures of the Night soundboards that came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he sent those, and I guess he sent them to someone else in my group, and that
Do
someone
you
else.
think?
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
not to cut you off, but do you think it's a bit of a coincidence that the Creatures of the Night soundboards came out around the time that they're
Yeah,
actually working on the
yeah,
box set?
and so I just been learning about. I even though I knew that this box set was in the works, and it was supposed, and I was excited to get that because I love the Destroyer anniversary thing that they did. And I got that. I don't got the
Yeah, that
box
was
set. I
really good.
got the vinyl version of it, which came out with the big book and stuff. And I missed out on the box, and now it's like really expensive. But I definitely wanted to get the Creatures of the Night, and I didn't know that they were working on that. So just for the record, I actually stopped sharing that link. Whoever else has it, if they share, they share. I just felt kind of, I feel like, I saw some guy in a podcast was talking about how that kind of fucks up a lot of people's jobs because they were actually working on like putting the stuff out and like, the production of it. It's not even the band that really suffers. It's the people who actually were going to put this out, because now they could just say like, well, shit, since everyone has it for free, we could just kill the project. And, so I felt kind
Yeah,
of bad. So I'm not sharing that thing anymore. If anybody wants that, they're going to have to just find someone else that has it. But I like it
yeah,
for my
yeah.
own enjoyment. I think it's my favorite just because I love the rawness of it all. But yeah, so when that came out, someone had shared Sam's direct link to his drive on the Facebook page or the group page, and then all of a sudden his link disappeared. So I think and that's when Sam disappeared. He killed that email that he was sending from and everything. And I made an announcement in that group, say, "Hey, everyone, don't be sharing links directly from Sam out in the open." This guy, he didn't know. He was some people saying, "Oh, you should boot him," and stuff like that. I don't think he knew. It was just a rookie mistake, pretty much. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I guess, and then I thought, well, he's gone forever now. We fucked it all up. But then he emails me
Sam's
back.
gone in the park.
Yeah, then he emails me back that second coming or whatever that's been coming out, and tells me, "Erik, you must take my link, download, and then make your own drive and tell everyone to do the same. Share everywhere." He's big. He writes everything in big caps, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Then he tells me something in the email, a little bit of history, and I think I could put this out there because, again, everything is alleged. We still don't know what is true and what is not true. Was this stuff stolen? Did this Gooch guy steal this from Kiss, did did Loomis steal this from Gooch? Because Gooch never come. Here's what's confusing me is Gooch never has come out yet. He's striking all these videos that are being popped up on YouTube. He's closing people's channels down. He struck ours twice already. That's why I took everything down off mine, except for just the Kiss commentary stuff that we do. But he struck, and I got 2 strikes. If he kills me one more, it's gone, and I have to start all over again, which I guess is okay. But so what's his role and why isn't he come out or at least go on to like that 3 sides of the coin like he's done in the past or the podcast that he knows, and why hasn't he come out and said his side of the story? Like, did it get stolen from me? If it did, how? Where's the proof? And because he's saying it got stolen from his cloud. Loomis is telling me that that Gooch has stolen from Kiss, a 3 terabyte drive from Kiss while he was working on the A&E documentary. And
Yeah,
so,
and I know that some of the stuff was used for the documentary. For
yes,
instance, Peter singing Beth in
yeah,
'76 with no makeup.
yeah, and so that's, and I guess obviously what we got from Sam so far is probably just a little small speck of what's on this, because 3 terabytes, that's like what, 1,000 gigs per, I guess it takes 1,000
It's a
gigs.
lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of stuff, right? So,
Yeah.
and I think overall, out of all these waves that he sent, I probably only got about 3 gigabytes worth of stuff or whatever. Yeah, so apparently Gooch stole this stuff from there and then was selling it to people like for $10,000 a piece or something like that. So he didn't really say that, but what Sam told me was in the email, he said that he stole 3 terabytes of stuff while working on the A&E documentary and was selling between 2020 and the last known sale was in 2021. Now, whether Loomis, whoever he is, was one of the guys that Gooch sold to, which I'm assuming. And then my question is this: if he sold it to this guy, how does he not expect it to not get out into the open? If he sold it to multiple people, why is he not expected to get leaked out? Was there any kind of agreement written between
Pinky
the
promise.
buyer, the buyer and the seller, to say, hey, I'm going to sell this to you, but you cannot use it anywhere commercially or whatever? Like when I buy drum beats off this one guy for my music, you have to buy the track. I can't just download his drum beat on YouTube and then release my music commercially. I have to actually get permission by buying it and then sign an agreement that I'm allowed to use it on Spotify or iTunes or whatever if I want to use that drum beat with my music. And same thing I would imagine would have to do with this transaction with Kiss. or the Kiss footage or whatever. So
I would think there's a lot of variables as well to consider, like the fact that someone might own the image rights to something,
yeah,
but
and that's
then
another thing.
Kiss would own, or not Kiss, but maybe Universal would own the music.
Yeah, and that's true,
So,
and I think that's what we kind of touched based on with when I was on that PRC, and so and so called in and was talking about how Gooch owns the image rights, but then he still wasn't given the full answer of like, well, who owns the music rights? And either way, like we're all in the wrong here. Like me even sharing this stuff, whether it's stolen property or not, in the wrong. People downloading it is in the wrong. If you're just watching it on YouTube, then you're not doing nothing wrong. But then you got people who are taking this stuff and reselling it as bootlegs, and if anyone's going to get more in trouble, it'd be those guys because they're making money off it. I'm not.
I saw the listing. Yeah. It's
Yeah, and
crazy.
so it's crazy, and I don't know how all that works, the bootleg stuff, and I've had people tell me, hey, there's this guy in our group that's a bootlegger, you need to get him out, and this and that. I'm like, well, if he wants to make a little bit of money off it, if he wants to take the time to put some packaging together and make it kind of presentable and make a little money off it, that's what he's going to do. I really don't care what he does with it.
Yeah.
Don't buy it. If you're going to buy the same stuff that you're going to get for free, then that's on the buyer. It's like,
Yeah.
but if me, I personally, I kind of like my stuff physical. I like to have a package and a cover. But Kiss is going to do the same thing. They're just going to take all this stuff that leaked and repackage it and sell it back to us anyway, and we're going to be buying it just like we do anything else.
Yeah, and I know that there was a lot of complaints for like the Kissology Volume 1, where they darkened, like for instance the Cobo Hall show, I think it was the second night, they darkened it a lot and they added like filters to different things, and
oh really?
yeah, like that people had complaints about that. So yeah, it might be a flashy cover or whatever, but you're not necessarily getting.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's a lot of cuts and stuff as well where they didn't want to use the full Tom Snyder show or things like this.
Oh yeah, I see. Huh? I would
So
love to.
I think personally, Kiss kind of half-assed at times with releases.
Yeah. I kind of think some of this footage that was released, especially on that Second Coming stuff, was probably stuff that they already looked at and decided not to use for anything. Like maybe, who knows? A lot of this stuff, other than that Creatures of the Night stuff, could be just stuff that they were, because they got to. I imagine they have. Kiss alone has more than 3 terabytes worth of footage. I mean, I imagine those guys have just about like everything, So this is probably just a small batch that they went through, and maybe they haven't decided to not use it for the documentary, and but not instead of erasing it, they just keep it on a drive in case they decide one day. But
yeah,
to me, it just seemed like stuff that they already passed up on. But who knows? Like that's what's bizarre about this whole thing is like the mystery behind it. Who knows what? And some of the stuff that Gene said in that interview. I saw a tweet by Gene when he tweeted a picture of him in concert all bloody, and he says, "I'm coming for you." It's like I wonder who he meant by that. Like
you'd wonder, yeah.
Coming for Gooch? Are you coming for Loomis? Are you coming for me? Oh shit! I'm not Sam Loomis.
Well, as two Kiss fans here, what do you have? Like, obviously, there's been a ton of stuff leaked.
Yeah.
Do you have any favorites that came out?
So far, my favorites is quite a bit of the Second Coming stuff. I like this rehearsal stuff. I like the backstage goofing around kind of stuff, like where they're just kind of goof. I love where they're just being themselves.